Thank you for being here. I'm meteorologist Brian Shields. Spring has moved in for a lot of us, and for some of us, I don't expect any more of a cool down as we go forward. Watching the Caribbean, you see that flow coming in out of the south, through parts of Guyana, Suriname, back through Venezuela, and then more of that easterly and southeasterly flow with us as we go forward. The fronts later this month that will be getting closer will really be weakening as they approach the Bahamas. So with that said, even our northern sections of the Caribbean, I'm not expecting much of a cool down, maybe a little bit of a shot of one as we get into later this month, but generally that looks it. I'm not seeing any of those big fronts diving down to the south like we saw last month. So as I look out long term, what's going on now? Here's the setup. It is the jet stream. So what I'm doing is I'm looking at the winds way, way above our heads, and this is the storm track. And this is where all the storms are riding right now, kind of going from west to east. So not diving down far to the south. So the southern United States, south, it looks like spring has hit, and it looks like generally it's going to stick around with a few exceptions. Remember, last month, we even had that southern snow, but here's that jet stream. That's where the storm tracks kind of are, and that's separating the cold from that warm spring-like air that is in place. And you see it here on the satellite picture. These are the clouds. Everything's following that. The storm system's rolling into the western United States, marching across, and then kind of pulling up toward New England and parts of the Atlantic region of Canada. And you see nothing diving down. There's actually some drought conditions, parts of Mexico, over toward parts of the southern United States. We clearly need to get some rain in spots in the Caribbean. Well, the chance of a few showers, but nothing too substantial for the most part. Jamaica, we had a couple showers around yesterday. I was watching some of the rain. So let's go long term here. So hang with me, and you look at these orange shadings, that's the really warm air. Well, last month, you saw some of this cold air. This is the Arctic air, dive all the way down toward Louisiana, Mississippi, parts of Alabama, and Florida, even Georgia, but not the case this go around. So going out in time here, and you can see why the spring pattern is locked in. The system's rolling from west to east, and even though we get these little cool downs that move, you see this one moving down toward Texas here, it doesn't get too far down to the south, so it looks like the extreme southern United States and still to the south, even by later this month as we just go forward, generally staying warm. A couple little exceptions here and there. You see, here's that Arctic air, and by the time we get into February 15th, it does get a little bit more down to the south, but there could be some record heat in parts of Jamaica, Cuba, the Bahamas, Florida by mid-month ahead of the next storm system with that warmth that's building in. So it looks like for many of us, our spring pattern is here, and it looks to kind of hold on. So here's the big picture as we watch these storm systems, and I want to zoom down for us in the Caribbean. There's that west to east flow. There's one system clipping by Bermuda, but you even see the tail end of it. It kind of dies down. We have that easterly flow. I've been highlighting some of the gustier winds over the last few videos, and we'll zoom down to some of those spotty showers. But you see these quick moving systems, very active, but very active so far to the north. One system, I'll zoom down on this in just a second, over toward New England, the mid-Atlantic, and parts of Canada, but these fronts are not diving down. You remember last month we had some of that snow down toward the panhandle of Florida, but even as this cold air gets a little bit closer and the fronts get a little bit closer, they don't get too terribly far down to the south. This is by February 11th, so as we work our way into Tuesday of next week, we still have that easterly breeze with us, and these fast-moving systems, and it'll be one after another. You see how active it will remain, and you see here this is by February 13th, another storm system rolling in New England. It does clip by down to the south. I mentioned Texas, how there'll be slightly cooler air, and then back toward Mexico, but it's generally short-lived. And then as we work our way into February 15th, going way out in time, it's a repeat pattern. So the pattern gets locked in, which means if we have the warm air in place now, it's generally going to hold as we go over the next couple of weeks, even deeper as we get into the month. Now, watching a few areas of rain. We had that yesterday, I mentioned, in parts of Jamaica. Spotty showers possible, St. Kitts and Nevis. Get over toward Honduras, a couple scattered showers, Belize, Cayman Islands, Jamaica. We could once again get a few showers and a little bit more Guyana and Suriname. Everything stays warm and generally on the breezy or at least windy side. And then by tomorrow afternoon, hit or miss as far as showers go. You see a couple that will be around Honduras, Nicaragua, Guyana, Suriname. By the time we get into Sunday, a few showers, could get a couple near Dominica, Guadeloupe, Martinique. So kind of hit or miss showers, nothing too widespread. So I'm also watching watching some of those drought conditions. A lot of us need to fill up those cisterns, and just not a big rain event this time of year that looks to be moving in. I'm going to continue in the next couple of videos to look way out in time to give you a heads up on what we're seeing. It does stay choppy. I mentioned those winds, so it stays choppy in the Caribbean. This is through the weekend into Monday. You see that chop in those Atlantic passageways, watching out for some of those elevated seas that will be with us. Here are those fast-moving systems. Here's Bermuda. Here we are as we get into the northern Bahamas. One system after another, but scooting its way off to the east and then kind of moving its way to the northeast. This is through the weekend. There's that snow near the Great Lakes, parts of New England and the Mid-Atlantic right there. This is by the time we get into tomorrow night. And then it kind of clips by over toward parts of Nova Scotia, and even the Avalon Peninsula will have a chance of a couple snow showers by the time we get into Sunday. But the rain total is just not too high. We still may get a couple showers. Let me zoom down for us in Jamaica. We may get a few showers that could push 25 millimeters of rain or an inch of rain. Most of us, if we do get rain, would be less. The Dominican Republic, a few spotty showers. Same thing, Puerto Rico. But you don't see the brighter colors. Guadeloupe, a little bit more. We may get a spot getting an inch or two or pushing 50 millimeters of rain. Could see a few spotty showers. St. Lucia, Barbados, St. Vincent the Grenadines, Grenada, Trinidad. Still some more in Guyana and Suriname, but I'm going to show you in a minute how that starts to trend down. And then watching out for scattered showers in parts of Nicaragua and monitoring some earthquake activity. There was another one just a few hours ago. I think it was 4.1 in magnitude in El Salvador. Guatemala and El Salvador the last 3 days. There's been some earthquakes around, so keeping an eye on that. Mexico City to the north, generally those dry conditions. So we're looking at about a 40% chance of at least some passing showers. Yesterday, some of those stuck around for us. In Jamaica, rain chance not too high. Cayman Islands, about a 20% chance this weekend. 20 to 30% chance in Trinidad and Tobago, and holding on to about a 20% chance in Barbados. Rain chance stays on the small side as a whole through the weekend. But today, we could get about a 40% chance, passing variety of a shower in St. Lucia. Grenada, 20% chance through the weekend. St. Vincent the Grenadines, right through the weekend, a 30% chance. That'll hold in Martinique. And you see the rain chance a little higher today and Sunday in Dominica. We're going to be up to a 40% chance, but not a ton. 30% chance as we get over toward Guadeloupe. 30 to 40% chance in Antigua, Barbuda. Beautiful as a whole. We'll have some windy conditions. 30 to 40% chance St. Kitts, Nevis, and Montserrat. In the next 3 days, a 30% chance in Guila and St. Bart's. The next 2 days, St. Martin, Saba, and Statia, 30% chance. Mainly dry on Sunday. An isolated shower possible today through the weekend in Puerto Rico, and we have that 20 to 30% chance U.S. and British Virgin Islands. Bahamas, we may get a shower or two, but that rain chance stays low. Most of our 700 plus islands stay on the dry side. Turks and Caicos, generally dry. The DRs, we get toward the Dominican Republic, still those same spots. East side, better chance of rain. Mainly dry in Haiti, may get scraped by a sprinkler or two. About a 30 to 40% chance as we work our way into Belize through the weekend. 20% chance the next couple of days in Aruba, Curacao, and Bonaire, about a 20 to 30% chance. And there's the rain chance around. Scattered still in Guyana and Suriname, but it does start to trend down some. You see through the weekend in Suriname, we're looking at about a 40% chance of rain. Mainly dry in Cuba, could see a stray shower tomorrow. 30% chance Costa Rica and Panama. 40% chance the next 2 days in Nicaragua. 40% chance the next couple of days in Honduras. Rain chance stays on the low side, Guatemala and El Salvador. Monitoring those earthquakes that we've been having. Mexico City, we're mainly dry, and just a 20% chance of a shower anywhere from Merida back toward Campeche, Cozumel, and Cancun. Northern Colombia, generally dry, about a 20 to 30% chance in northern Venezuela. In Tamar, just with the tail end of that front moving by, about a 40% chance of a shower as we work our way into Bermuda. So monitoring some of those earthquakes in Central America, tracking some of the winds and some spotty areas of rain, bigger storm systems to the north. That's why spring has moved in for a lot of us. Cold fronts will get a little closer to the northern Caribbean later this month. So I'll continue to look out ahead of time for you as we go forward together. Hope you're doing well. Have a great day.